Nothing in life is certain and consistency is scarce. Changes occur at the twinkling of an eye, causing dreams to wither and die. After I was sexually assaulted, it didn't allow me to be what was inside. My mind said no, and my body was terrified. I questioned my womanhood. My insides were labeled damaged goods. My nightmares told my story. My dreams held my visions confined from reality, and reality itself was a mystery I couldn't solve. The pain was left unattended in me. I didn't know where to find treatment for my tarnished soul that had mildewed and mold. The torture kept me under constant emotional, spiritual, and physical attacks. I didn't choose for this pain to hold me back. Sexual violence stifled me from growing. How did a rapist get pleasure by torturing my greatest treasure? His twisted mind put me to the test. He assaulted me, not caring if I'd ever find rest in my body, peace in my spirit, or composure in my demeanor. The one test I failed so bad, he robbed me of every ounce of confidence I had. He caught me by surprise. When people found out what he did, why was I criticized? He alone severed all family ties. He saw the fear in my eyes, but his nature still managed to rise. Why was he able to get enjoyment from my pain? What he did slowly drove me insane. What was he expecting to gain? I was a child and I was condemned for ruining his name. It was overlooked that he played with my body like it was a game. I wasn't his first victim, and he had no plans to make me his last. Did he learn that disturbing conduct from his own past? I'm curious to know, was it learned or was he a victim of his own destructive behavior? My nights became shorter and my days grew long. I punished myself because I felt I had done something wrong. Surely it was the outfit I was wearing or the style of my hair. Maybe it was the dangling earrings or the lip gloss that took him there to that twisted place in his consciousness. I wonder, did he come stalking the reunion and seeking child's play? He was going to violate me regardless of what I wore that day. He stripped me of my innocence, left me empty, and continued serving in the church, spreading abuse and inflicting hurt. He abused my inner self. Nothing was left. It was demoralizing, and the brokenness paralyzed my ability to explore the journey of life, which leads to destination. I couldn't comprehend. I had no power to defend my insides. I was left without a guide. I no longer had the ability to see the image of Christ or feel the comforter he left to comfort me. My body didn't trust me to protect it, and I suspected everyone and trusted no one. I went numb. My insides died because my mind said no, and my body was traumatized. He sexually assaulted a part of me, but my whole body suffered the shock. My heart locked. It locked me outside. My mind said no. It locked me out. And I attempted suicide. I'll never forget that night. I took my last breath as a little girl and reluctantly agreed to my position as a dysfunctional member of society and welcomed all type of rapists into my world. Greetings. I am Dr. Kenya Rawls, an overcomer of sexual violence. Can I share with you why I'm so passionate about this topic? Abuse is happening around the clock. We've all experienced, heard, witnessed, and or been affected in some manner by this devastating exploitation. I'm so eager for every woman to treat the root of her pain, not just the symptoms. I want to see my sisters restored and fulfilling their purposes. What if I told you you could defeat anything? What if I told you Nothing can destroy you forever. Would you believe me? More importantly than me telling you, what if you told yourself these things? Would you believe you? I want you to hear yourself speaking life, love, hope, truth, and peace because wound care matters. Make a commitment to speak what you want to manifest. Say it with me. I am whole. Say it again. I am whole. One more time. I am whole. Speaking to yourself every day. Our words have responsibility. It's not how you start, but how you finish. I'm from the projects in a small town in Alabama with a population of less than 2,000 people. Living in a small town was great because everyone knew each other and or was family. But living in a small town also had its challenges. I was taught at a very early age that what happens in the family stays in the family. I spent most of my childhood playing outside because when I grew up, we had one choice. Although there were two options, we had to stay outside or stay outside. But we couldn't run in and out because my granny made it a point to let us know anytime we tried to come in, we was letting her good cold air out. Not just any air, but her good cold air. The neighborhood was filled with so much laughter as we all played hide and seek, kickball, red light, green light, and freeze tag. I thought life was going to be filled with those kind of memories forever. I was seriously mistaken. I'll never forget an extremely warm summer afternoon in July. At the age of 13, I attended my very first family reunion. I didn't know what to expect, but from all the rumors I had heard, it was supposed to be like learning about your family at this big party and you learn about them and through the whole family tree. And we were going to dance to Before I Let You Go, Brick House, The Electric Slide, barbecuing, eating mac and cheese, peach cobbler, and vanilla ice cream. The magical reunion quickly turned into a nightmare I couldn't wake up from. My drinks were spiked. I was extremely delusional and wounded. I instantly became prey. I was lured into a room with family that robbed me of my childhood. The attack was vicious. I screamed internally, but fear paralyzed my vocal cords. I couldn't escape the room, so I jumped up and ran to the restroom. I passed out on the floor. The next day, the loud bang, bang, bang on the door woke me up. I had the worst hangover. I was extremely afraid of what was waiting for me on the other side of the door. Regardless of what was waiting, I told myself I was definitely going to tell someone and or everyone who was willing to listen what had happened to me. My heart was racing out of control. My mind and my body was at war. I slowly opened the door and immediately remembered the golden rule. What happens in this family stays in this family. Granted, my life spiraled out of control after that, but eventually I was healed physically, but I still had emotional wounds. It was a struggle to heal my wounds because I kept touching them instead of doing the root work needed to heal the little girl within. The abuse consumed my thoughts, ultimately affecting my mindset. I replayed the scenario in my mind over and over and over. I adopted a victim mentality, made excuses because I was sexually abused. Reliving negative experiences again and again will prolong suffering and stifle growth. Wounds require the proper care to heal. Without a safe place to heal and a safe place to be heard and understood, the pain and shame can keep you from being whole. The journey for peace after the storm will not be easy, but you are worth being whole. To receive proper wound care, please stop touching the wound. Continuously touching it can cause an infection and delay your healing. If you had a physical wound that needed medical attention, would you think about going to get it treated, or would you actually do it? Would you seriously deny yourself the proper medical treatment? It's imperative to create an atmosphere conducive to heal what broke you. Sis, wholeness is your portion. Speak it and believe it. It is necessary for you to hear yourself speaking what you need to manifest. I believe executing the AAA method will help you accomplish this. Admit, ask, action. What does admitting consist of? I'm glad you asked. Admitting you're broken, bruised, and or bleeding is significant because you're no longer in denial. You know there's a problem. If you went to the hospital right now, the hospital staff is going to ask you, what brings you in today? How did this happen? What is your pain level on a scale of 1 to 10? You will be required to admit what you need to be treated. Admitting allows you to identify the specific area where it hurts, which means the correct area will be properly treated. Ask. What does asking consist of? Well, I'm glad you asked. Asking for help requires mental fortitude. When you ask for help, your mind get on one accord with what your body needs. Asking indicates you have an expectation. You know it isn't something you can do alone. If you were pregnant, would you attempt to deliver your baby alone? Delivering a baby requires many people doing things they specialize in. Would you feel guilty about not being a specialist in every area needed to deliver your own baby? Asking for assistance isn't a sign of weakness. It's actually a sign of strength. Action. What does taking action consist of? I'm glad you asked. Taking action in its simplest forms mean you've made a commitment to do whatever it takes to heal. When you take action, you're deciding to execute a plan. Setting a step-by-step goal will help you keep track of what you're attempting to accomplish. If you were hungry but never took any action to feed yourself, you would starve. Taking action requires being responsible for what you need. Sis, the time is now. You deserve to heal. Your wound care shouldn't have to wait until tomorrow. What happened to you isn't your fault. You're not responsible for what happened to you. However, you are responsible for your healing. Today is the day for you to implement the AAA method. That's why you have to remember to admit you need wound care. Ask for help for your wounds. And action, making a commitment to heal your wounds. We as a society, we as a community, we as a race, we as a gender, we as a sisterhood should unite and support each other. All women should have a safe space to properly heal and have their voices heard. I am the CEO of SIS, Synergy in Sisterhood, counseling, coaching, and consulting. No one should suffer in silence. We are better together. You don't have to hide your shame. The road to recovery is not built on silence. Healing represents being whole. Sis, it's time for you to stop living in half. Please follow me on all social media platforms at Dr. Kenya Inspires. Also, reach out to me on my Facebook page, Synergy in Sisterhood, to set up a free meeting of the minds consultation. I may or may not be the person for you. If I am for you, let's grow through it. If I'm not, I'll do everything I can to help you find someone who is good for you. Don't procrastinate. This offer is only good for 24 hours. I've shared with you the honesty in my truth, the love from my roots, the beauty from within, the self of my esteem, the colors of my rainbow, the brightness in my glow, the beat in my heart, the sweet in my tart, the consistency of my soul, the integrity that makes me whole. Embrace the phenomenal in me. Again, I am Dr. Kenya Rawls, an overcomer of sexual violence.